Hello, everybody. It's Dr. Stuart A. Swerdlow.
And Janet Diane Moria Swerdlow.
And this is the Expansions News Podcast for the very first few days of December 2019. I didn't know what year it was. I suddenly bleep into another reality.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and so to start, quite honestly, last 10 days or so, the news has been kind of the same, just same thing over and over again, just a few little things here and there. But one thing I did come across, which I wanted to make you aware of, is that there is a complete guide to the scandals of the Obama administration. Now, there are 782 listings of criminal activities by Mr. Obama and crew. And of course, I'm not going to go through all of them here, but if you click on the podcast links, you will see the link and the list of all 782 of them. I suggest that you read them all. They include such things as the AmeriCorps scandal, the IRS scandal, NSA scandal, scandals involving the Secret Service prostitution event, State Department scandals, Veteran Affairs scandals, and on and on and on. So you can see how he's made the statement that his administration was scandal-free. Not really. In fact, it was probably a scandal for every day he was in office. And Michael/Michelle has her own list, which has not been published yet, but we'll get to that eventually. And speaking of scandalous people, and finally, this information has been revealed. U.S. Congressman Ilhan Omar was recruited by a foreign government, passed sensitive information that was related to Iran, and received funding by a foreign government, according to a sworn deposition by a Canadian businessman in a Florida court. In the testimony, which was made by a video link from Toronto to a Florida district court on October 23rd, Kuwait-born Alan Bender, doesn't sound like a
Kuwaiti name.
No, Alan Bender, claims to have had deep ties with the governments and royal officials across the Middle East, including Qatar. In his statement, he says he met Qatar's Secretary of the Emir for Security Affairs, Mohammed bin Ahmed bin Abdullah Al Masnad. The passport must have like fold-outs so you can read their names.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like
And two other senior Qatari officials. The three alleged claimed credit for the meteoric rise of Omar, saying, quote, "If it wasn't for our cash, Ilhan Omar would be just another black Somali refugee in America collecting welfare and serving tables on the weekends," which is probably all she's really cut out to do. Now, according to Bender's deposition, which was obtained by Al Arabiya English and authenticated by the attorney for the plaintiffs, Bender was subpoenaed in a lawsuit against the Qatari emir's brother, Sheikh Khalid bin Hamad Al Thani, that's not too bad, who stands accused of ordering his American bodyguard to murder two people and holding his hired American paramedic prisoner. In his deposition, Bender testifies about his meetings with Al Masnad and other Qatari officials in which they mention the Sheikh Khalid case and discuss Qatar's campaign to influence Western politicians. But let's remember, Qatar is just a little tiny blip in the Persian Gulf. I've been there a couple of times. It's very nice, but a little scary. And so it's not Qatar, and you'll see in a moment. In the testimony, Bender claims to have been asked to recruit American politicians and journalists to be Qatari assets, saying that several American politicians and journalists were already on the payroll, most prominently Omar, who was allegedly described as, quote, the jewel of the crown, according to the deposition. The controversial congresswoman has already been found to have broken campaign finance rules. The Minnesota Campaign Finance Board ruled in June that Omar violated state campaign finance rules by improperly using campaign money for out-of-state travel while serving as a state representative. In addition, conservative group Judicial Watch has called on the House Ethics Committee to investigate Omar for alleged offenses, including immigration fraud, the New York Post reported in July. Last week, the New York Post reported that Omar paid $150,000 to a political consulting group where Tim Minot is a partner in the 3 months after the newspaper revealed that the pair were romantically involved. I think, did you have anything to do with it at all? She's not talking. Al-Masnad said that Qatar recruited Ilhan Omar from even way before she thought about becoming a government official. They groomed her and arranged the foundation, the grounds for her to get into politics before she even showed an interest. They convinced her, for her part, Omar operated with the Qataris and received cash payments. American and Turkish media previously reported that Omar met Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, a key supporter of the Muslim Brotherhood, when she was a junior state representative in Minnesota in 2017. And according to Bender, Omar met Erdogan and allegedly swore allegiance to him. She just swears allegiance to anyone that has subversive activities.
Yes.
Now here's the thing. She used her position in the House of Representatives to access sensitive information which she relayed to Qatar and through them, Iran. The Qataris claim that the best thing money can buy are American officials because they are the cheapest of the cheapest, costing officials in the world. No, but they should ask me. I would give them a good price. You know, really.
That.
Seriously, I would put about you. I tell them everything about you.
Yeah.
You know? Anyway, so the ones behind it all, Iran. But who/what is behind Iran? Drum roll, please. And I shall be discussing that in the January class, whether you like it or not, Mr. Thing, Mr. Siberian Thing. I wonder who you're working for.
His sister
I
got
bet he
in
took
on
some
it, so.
biscuits in exchange for something.
I bet he did. He likes biscuits.
Now, to a more sad note, at least 23 people have been killed and several more missing and hundreds have been injured in an earthquake which struck Albania this week. It was a 6.4 earthquake. And just after that, Bosnia and Herzegovina had a 5.4 magnitude earthquake. And shortly after that, Crete in Greece had a 6.1. There's a lot of rocking and rolling over there.
Yes, so.
And I remember when we were driving over those roads in Albania, on that big mountain, I thought, oh, if there's an earthquake, we're going to be at sea level very fast.
Yeah.
Well, the reason is that the African tectonic plate, which I've told you
Billion
times, the African tectonic plate is moving north and causing quakes along Southern Europe region and Asia Minor, which includes Turkey and so on. And your homeland.
Which one? I have so
Your
many.
American homeland. The volcanic processes that will release the Cascadia megathrust earthquake, that sounds so sexy, have been underway for roughly 8 months. The Cascadia is held in place only by friction. So is my clothing.
Comment on that one.
My clothing is. The location of the friction is known as the Cascadia subduction zone. And the zone is under the Cascadia chain of volcanic mounts. It gets level by level. Once the stress has built up over hundreds of years, it seeks to be released. The most effective means of reducing friction is to melt away at multiple points, and that's what's happening now. According to this information, there is an intrinsic relationship between the activity at the volcanic mounts of British Columbia, Washington, Oregon, and Northern California, and the release of the Cascadia megathrust earthquakes. And it says it's rare to have high 3 magnitude and 4 plus magnitude earthquakes, but when they happen, that is a warning of the impending megaquake. Now, it says that there is, in British Columbia, there's eruption, was it during the time of the 1700 AD Cascadia megaquake? Do you remember that one? Mm-hmm. In a single mariner's logbook, so someone in a logbook wrote that Either Mount Rainier or Glacier Peak was erupting during that 1700 megaquake.
I think I wrote that.
You were the mariner. So the process of building up pressure over hundreds of years is caused by the movement of North America westward. This force overcomes the friction at the plate boundary zone and begins the process of subduction. So it kind of goes like that.
Yeah, you talk about that a lot in the classes.
Yes, but now I'm explaining them.
More.
Yes. Subduction creep causes subduction-specific seismic tremor signatures to be recorded at the volcanic mounts along the boundary zone. And now, right this moment, is being recorded at 7 Cascadia volcanic locations. Right now, Crater Lake, Newberry, a site 18 miles west of Mount Jefferson. Do you know that? Mount St. Helens, Mount Rainier, a Glacier Peak, and Mount Baker. All of these are now filling up with magma. Additionally, there's been increased tremors at Mount Meager in British Columbia. And there are hot spots at Mount Tso, Mount Etsiza, Mount Shasta, and Mount Lassen.
Half of those I don't even know anymore.
Well, Shasta and Lassen are in California. Tso and Etsiza, I don't know.
Never heard of those.
They may be someplace in British Columbia. Anyway, they counted hot spots from Western North America, from mid-British Columbia to the border of Mexico, and as far east as Alberta, Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, Utah, and Arizona.
Arizona had tornadoes.
I start packing up. So it's a big 130 hotspots were spread across that area, and 6 months ago, there were not even 10.
Wow, that's a big difference.
That's a big difference. So Mount Shasta recently had a hotspot and has increased activity. So why are hotspots important? I have several myself. But do you know why they're important? Because the majority relate to magmatic rise of magma rising up that causes crustal heating. Mammoth Mountain has had swarms of earthquakes of late, that's in California, and also an increase in the hotspots. How big, you ask? The latest science from the sediment says that when Cascadia goes, it usually goes the full length as it did in 1700. So that means a massive 9.3 magnitude earthquake.
And a long one.
Yes, because it says, since we are overdue compared to the average 76 years, it may be higher than 9.3 and could affect 950 miles with a high level of probability.
Wow.
So, people in British Columbia all the way down to Mexican border,
Sayonara.
Bye-bye. I warned you. You can't, just don't even bother packing. Get the frick out. But they can't because the mountain roads are covered in snow.
Yeah, because of global warming.
Yeah, right. Which leads me to the next story. Heavy early season snow has buried the mountainous Central European nation of Switzerland.
Well, is that unusual?
It says it's an all-time November snowfall record and has just been broken, and the ski resorts have been completely cut off.
Well, that's not good for business.
No, and it's only November. Ice age coming. Ice age coming. You go now.
I don't think so.
You go now. But let's go back to California, because they said they're waiting for the big one.
I thought you just told us all about
Well,
that.
now I'm getting specific. With more than 100,000 small to medium aftershocks in Southern California since July, experts are wondering not if the big one will come, but when. Since 2015, the Pacific Rim of Fire has been rattled by 600 major quakes, magnitude 6 or higher. That's a lot of shaking going on. And 40 miles east of downtown LA is a swarmageddon of quakes that has brought fear that a bigger threat is coming. But this is a so perfect description of Californians. To others, as long as they don't feel a shake, it's easy to just put it out of their mind or something. I'm so sure.
Yeah, that's...
Like we could just go to the mall. California has small quakes all the time, magnitude 3 every day on average, according to the LA Times, but not all of them act the same, and some bring more dangers than others. And it's reminiscent of the activity on San Andreas Fault 3 years ago that have some scientists on edge for a possibly large triggered earthquake. So if you live in the Rockies or westward, Alaska, Hawaii, or near the new Magic Fault Zone, that would be us. Get ready.
No, ready.
May I do one additional thing?
Do I have a choice?
Well, you could say, get the F out of here. But anyway, in addition, because you mentioned before that we went on the air about Hong Kong. Mm-hmm. And Hong Kong protesters are now waving American flags. The Chinese government is furious.
No, they're even singing the American anthems.
They're furious. They're furious. We're furious about this. And, well, gee, they don't like payback, do they? If China's government is right, you can ask Tibetans, Uyghurs, people in the UK, Macau, etc. We'll see who agrees with the Chinese government. So watch for increased anti-government riots in China, Iran, Lebanon, Cuba, Venezuela, and Iraq, where the prime minister has already resigned.
All kinds of things going on in the world. Well, I happen to have quite a few stories.
Well, we're not interested, really.
Because you said there wasn't much news, but there was a lot of news.
Yeah?
Yeah, where I was reading. Anyway, first of all, Trump and Israel, are like this now,
yes, but
right?
that's old news, isn't it?
No, this is a new letter. But it was signed by over 200 rabbis, including the chief rabbis of Israel, who thanked him for his recognition of Israel's right to Judea and Samaria. It compared the political move to the prophecy of Jeremiah and said that over 2,500 years ago, the prophet Jeremiah claimed that the nation of Israel would return to the hills of Samaria and plant their vineyards there. The rabbis then cited another verse in Jeremiah as being manifested by Trump's actions. The United States of America were one of the first countries to support the founding of the State of Israel. The presidents of the U.S. were honored to support Israel and be part of the fulfillment of the prophets' predictions of the return of Zion and the foundation of the State of Israel. It is a rare honor for you to be the first president to lead this recognition. We are sure you will be remembered in the history of Israel as the leader who stood fearlessly by our side. May God bless you and fulfill you as he promised Joshua. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Unquote. That's huge.
Yes, and in the January class, I'm going to have additional information about biblical prophecies that have come true.
And remember, these two books you really wanted to read, because the third book, we're editing that now.
Yes, and I'm doing very well and being so calm and nice about it.
Yes, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
So we have a lot of information based on a lot of prophecies that are in these two books, plus more forthcoming.
Yes.
Now, also, the other thing, I always tell you that all the people in the news, whoever you see, nobody just came out of nowhere. So this was specifically interesting to me about Meghan Markle, who's in the news.
Again.
Because she's always in the news. But the reason this is interesting to me is apparently on the Markle side, there was a diplomat to Argentina.
No me diga.
Ex-diplomat Mike Markle, who is now 80, claims that he helped launch her career.
Oh, yeah.
And said that he has branded her a prima donna and claims she has a chip on her shoulder.
Duh.
He also claims he used his influence to secure her a prestigious internship as a junior press officer at the American Embassy in Argentina when she was 20 and considering a career in international relations. So doesn't that sound like they're preparing her for her future role as quote-unquote princess?
But didn't he say something really nasty about her, too?
He does, but the point is not the nastiness. The point is what they're telling you beneath the nastiness. They want you to only...
There's a reason for why she's where she is.
Right. They only want you to look at the nastiness and the gossip, but they're telling you the truth, and that's what you have to read through to get to. He says, I don't communicate with her mostly because I understand they don't accept mail at the palace.
Why not?
I've probably done for her more than most. I personally talked with the ambassador in Argentina for her. I helped her out, and I didn't ask for anything in return. Now, she is where she is for a reason. We don't know exactly why they're putting on the royal show, but they are. And I will also tell you, in case you haven't noticed, that they are downplaying the white side of her family and upplaying the black side of her family. So all the whites you're not seeing, all that you see or hear about is the black mother. So there's a reason for that.
I hardly ever see anything about her.
Yeah, so they show her in the news. She was in Toronto with them. She was here. She was there. So she's always there. So the mother's there. The white side, for whatever reason, they're showing you these things for a reason. And while I'm on the royal family, because I have another article about that.
But didn't the uncle also say that she's like a lower class person that he's trying to make upper class?
Yeah, he said a lot of things.
Yeah.
But the point is that's not true, because they're saying that to make you think. They always make you think that anybody could just rise up and be a princess, or the president of the United States is not going to. Yes, you can. You can identify as a princess.
Oh, that's true.
It's not going to happen. These people come from somewhere. And remember, she's also sixth cousin to her husband Harry. On the father's side.
That's incest.
They are all this way. They are all related. So she didn't just come out of nowhere. And to have an uncle who was a diplomat or some kind of ambassador or something in Argentina, she was a somebody. And then she went to be an actress because that trains her.
She wasn't a very good one.
But it still trains her to be able to present herself in front of people. But according to this, she was considering a career in international relations, which guess what? She has now, right? So, and I also want to mention to you just briefly about Prince Andrew. Because Prince Andrew, as you know, is, like the bad boy of the family, blah, blah.
One of them.
But let me tell you this. Do you know that supposedly he has a security detail that goes with him everywhere, whether it's on these airplanes or whether it's...
Even still, they dropped him from everything.
Point being is why aren't they saying they're going to interview his security detail? Nobody's talking about that. They're only talking about interviewing him. His security detail know a hell of a lot more than he knows, than he's going to ever say. So they know a lot more. This is all...
Well, they paid them to be quiet.
It doesn't matter. I'm just telling you that instead of making a big deal about Prince Andrew, they need to be, if they really wanted the truth and not just make a show for the people, they would be interviewing his security detail. So, and then Eamon Holmes is reprimanded for calling Meghan Markle uppity because they were told that it was used to insult black people in the 19th century who didn't know their place.
Listen to me. They called everybody uppity.
Yes,
white people,
exactly.
black people.
They make a big deal out of it. So I wanted to bring that. And then moving along with more palace news. Now at first glance, this sounds like only mind control of youth. So, and like Kate and William are just the perfect family. So they're going to open a new Kensington Palace Education Center next door to where Prince William and Kate Middleton's quarters are. Doesn't that sound like very generous and charitable of them? But of course they want to make sure that the young people know what the monarchy is so that they won't grow up hating them and overthrow them because they're living leeches off of the people. So this is going to be the Queen Anne's Orangery.
Ooh.
Queen Anne's Orangery. It's where she used to raise her orange trees.
Oh, that they call it an orangery?
An orangery, of course. Don't you have an orangery?
I never heard
A
of it.
limenery? A limery? Be used as a base for educating young pupils on Britain's royal heritage. The dogs are so excited. They're over here with all their toys to share with all the unfortunate young children. Apparently they're planning a 2-floor extension to the orangery, which will allow enough space for a lunch and afternoon tea restaurant, catering facilities, an outdoor terrace. A new garden will link the orangery to Prince William and Kate's, one of their homes.
And who was paying for that?
Well, just listen. This is very exciting because it's called the Kensington Palace Orangery Learning Center.
Wait a second, I have a question.
Yes.
That's in Britain, eh?
Yeah.
They don't grow oranges in Britain.
That's right. That's why she had to have an orangery.
I still
so
don't
they
get
could
it.
grow them there.
It's inside?
Yes, it's a building.
Are you growing trees inside the building?
Yes. That's why it's called an orangery.
Whatever.
So, but we have to move along because I have a lot of stories. That's a light and spacious, purpose-built education facility designed to meet the needs of our school and community groups. It will also house new catering and toilet facilities for the popular Orangery restaurant, alongside offices to support our events team who regularly work in the building. We are undertaking vital conservation work that we hope will shed new light on the building's fascinating past as the housing of these orange trees. And it will provide teaching spaces in a child-safe and secure environment. They will engage students through exploration, debate, drama, and creativity. They will allow students to explore the palace, learn through a history where it happened initiative, And the teaching will include how the monarchy has changed over the past 1,000 years and how royal traditions, which have evolved over time. Doesn't it sound wonderful and lovely?
I can't wait to go myself.
Now I'm going to tell you why they're doing this.
Why?
Okay, that's the first level. Okay, second level is deeper. Because guess what?
What?
I think I told you about this when it happened. Apparently, some time back, the royals came under fire after lodging plans to build a mega basement under this building containing office space for employees of historic royal palaces and the Queen's dress collection.
In the basement?
Not just one basement, they wanted a 2-story basement.
There's a 2-story basement?
No, not yet. They wanted to build a 2-story basement. However, there were 18 objections to the plans. These plans infuriated a number of the locals, but the proposal went ahead because apparently the council's own policy, known as CL7, prohibits double-level basements, but the royalty wanted to put it in. And there was an upset about it. So now the council said that this CL7 was designed to address the overdevelopment of residential properties, but doesn't apply to Kensington Palace, which it calls unique in many respects. And guess what? Now we have this education center for the children. Isn't that lovely? So I thought that was a very interesting story.
So you can go pick oranges and then see the Queen's dresses.
Well, they don't have it anymore. And plus, it's going to be in the basement. So, and who knows what they're going to put in the basement? I doubt if they're going to put.
I know what they're going to put in the basement.
And now they're going to have access to all these children. Isn't that interesting, right?
I bet they never come out of the basement.
It's very possible. I wouldn't want my children going there. Anyway, and then Marla Maples, one of Donald Trump's ex-wife, is launching a spiritual travel service that offers retreats with healers, alchemists, and mentors to help people shed what they need to shed and shift into their highest good.
You know, I met her.
It's called Soul Shine Journeys.
You think she did that because of me?
I think so.
I think so too.
Yeah. The logistics of upcoming trips remain unclear, but the website says future locations are to be selected, quote, using an intuitive feeling-based process. The rituals will encompass practices from different traditions and parts of the world. And you'll also be happy to know that Ms. Maples is uniquely spiritual and practices a variety of religion. She goes to church on Sundays, but still keeps Shabbat, studies Kabbalah, and eats a kosher diet. All this Jewishness out there, Israeli stuff.
Because I bumped into her.
And you heard her
and
Jewish?
she was hysterical laughing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and then, speaking of the Bible, in Greek media has described the recent storms in France, Greece, and Italy as biblical destruction.
Because they hate them.
The Greek hate the Greek?
They hate the French and the Italians.
They also said that in Greek.
They said in Greek?
Yes. The Greeks wrote in Greek that Greece, France, and Italy have had biblical destruction.
Oh, okay.
Okay? You gotta follow. I know it's a little fast for you.
I can understand your English.
Yeah, that's it. And then, speaking of climate change, which I know that's what we always tell you, right? John Stossel, believe it or not, put out a video destroying climate change myths when he invited climate change activists to a debate at the Heartland Institute, but they didn't show up. However, scientists showed up to debunk some of the more common myths that were pushed by folks like Representative Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez.
Really?
Who's a Democrat, New York, and other extremists. Stossel noted over the years that he'd covered so many scares that have turned out to be not what people claimed, and the fact we're living longer than ever. So, and of course, he went on to talk about Greta Thunberg,
who may be drowned now in the Atlantic.
Former Vice President Joe Biden, who claimed we only have 12 years left.
No, he only has 12 years left.
And astrophysicist Willie Soon said, let's have a discussion. And Pat Michaels, former president of the American Association of State Climatologists, dissected the 12-year/extinction claim and said, it's warmed up around 1 degree Celsius since 1900 and life expectancy doubled. Yet the temperature ticks up another half a degree and the entire system crashes. That's the most absurd belief.
Except the temperature has not gone up.
And climatology professor David Legates predicted in 12 years it'll be 12 years more. Stossel asked,
especially since I heard this 40 years ago.
Right. Stossel asked, that's his point. Stossel asked the scientist, you acknowledge that the water is rising. And Legates said, yes, the water has been rising for approximately 20,000 years.
But it's actually dropping in many areas.
But the point is, that they're trying to tell you that we're not going to die. And that's what they're trying to, all these climate activist people are trying to tell us. It's a very good thing that John Stossel did.
Yes.
The scientists also debunked global warming as making the storms worse myth, and that carbon dioxide is only a harm, both of which they pointed out are wrong. And the government can save us. The Obama's administration model projects that the amount of global warming that would be saved going to zero emissions tomorrow would be 0.14 of a degree Celsius.
In other words, imperceptible.
Yes. So Stossel says the other side doesn't want to debate. They just want to impose their will without question.
And taxes about it.
So that politicians will have control over the people.
Duh.
So speaking of control, now, I don't know if you heard about this woman, Jennifer James.
No.
She's a USA Today author who is very well known. Apparently, she graduated from Old Dominion University with a BS in health science, a minor in management, and then she went on to leave the corporate world in 2011 to care for twin toddlers and pursue a career as a novelist, where she wrote very apparently best-selling novels about the corruption inside the vaccine industry. And guess what? She was found dead of suicide at 47. And she had 2 bullet wounds to the head.
So she shot herself
In
twice
the
in the head, and then did it again.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So, and then it goes on, this article that I found, it says, with unconfirmed reports saying she was found dead with 2 bullet wounds to the head. I couldn't find anything to confirm what she really died from.
Murder. She died from murder.
So you have a successful young woman on the rise with twin children. I don't think she's going to commit suicide.
No.
And all these people who they claim commit suicide don't commit suicide.
Right.
Right?
They have been murdered.
Right. Jeffrey Epstein didn't commit suicide.
And
right?
it's not even dead.
So, moving along. In Japan, there is a shop called... In Japan? The Michikachi.
Watch your language.
Kake store.
Hey, that's like my hot spots.
Well, it might be, because, especially if you identify as a woman, because they are now in this shop in Osaka, they are suggesting that their female employees wear...
It's in Osaka.
That's what I said.
I thought you said something else.
Osaka. That the female employees wear what's called period badges to let people know when they have their period.
Oh my goodness.
And they're suggesting that's a good idea for all women.
Oh, but men might have a period
That's true. So you could have one. In fact, I'll get you one first.
I want a period
and then you'll
badge.
let me know how it goes.
I want one too.
So according to this store manager, they said there's a tendency for women's sexuality and periods to be subjects not mentioned, which I think is a good idea.
You know, I think it's wrong to call them periods.
Yeah.
They're more like exclamation points.
That's true. So in this store that they have, there's a blue period section where products will be stocked for women who are currently on their period. Then there's a glittering period.
Ooh.
This is in their store section,
Yeah.
which is after your period. And then you have another section of the store for the turbulence period, which is PMS, and the gloomy period, which is right before your period. So this is in Osaka, Japan.
Yeah, but they're so polite.
Well, that's what she says now. And so I'll get you a badge.
Thank you. Can I have glitter too?
Yeah, we'll sprinkle glitter on your head.
Okay.
So, moving along, then there are poison control for psychedelic plants and herbs, because marijuana poisonings have increased since 2000, 150%.
What? Poisoning marijuana?
Marijuana poisoning. People are taking too much of it because they think it's natural and it's not going to hurt them.
I thought it was poisoned marijuana.
No. The marijuana poisonings. These are poison control centers. So spikes in calls to poison control centers over such things as marijuana and some of these other things are landing people in the hospital and sometimes killing them. And kratom, which we've talked about before, is responsible for 8 out of 42 psychedelic-related deaths, according to Central Ohio Poison Control Center. And also something called Jimson weed. I'm not familiar with that.
I know that.
And did you know nutmeg? Nutmeg?
Nutmeg?
Nutmeg. Since 2011, calls for nutmeg poisoning rose to
How
the
do you get nutmeg poisoning?
You
Too
eat
many
it.
Cookies?
You eat it. It says it will cause hallucinations if taken in high doses.
Ooh, that's good to know. You have some nutmeg in there.
I don't think so. I don't like nutmeg.
No?
But it says 64% increase of people trying to get high off of nutmeg. So people think because this is natural, you can do whatever you want, but it's not the case because not everybody needs these things. Crazy. And Jimmy Carter, I reported not too long ago.
He needs to go into his
Remember I told you he had the black eye thing?
Yeah.
Okay, well, Susan Sarandon, 73,
She punched him?
has a huge black eye after slipping at minor slip. Huge. The whole
what
thing.
she do?
Minor. The thing is like more purple than this, all around her eye, and purple. This is like
So
violet.
she and Jimmy Carter have like fights?
Like this, that. No, well, so it's a left eye thing. Because remember, I did that one thing called Left Eye Royals.
Yeah.
So these are more, and the interesting thing about her is like when she's got it, she's got like one's really bad and one's kind of not bad. But then when she turns the camera one way, this one's bad and this not.
Why don't you put makeup on it?
That's my point. I think it's done. Maybe some of it's done with makeup. I'm not sure, but it's crazy. So anyway, she said
I think Jimmy Carter just has brain hemorrhages.
in his eye.
Yeah.
She said she had a little slip which resulted in a concussion, a fractured nose, a banged up knee, and eyes so black. Like you said, there's plenty of makeup, but it's crazy.
But then, isn't it offensive to call it a black eye? Because
That's
why isn't it
true.
a white eye?
I agree with you. And speaking of offensive, in Walmart and on Amazon, there is now a book called A Children's Book of Demons. So
That's like every school book ever written.
that's for parents looking to introduce their kids to devil worship. Apparently, the publishers say that you should try to turn the act of summoning demons into a kid-friendly activity.
Are you kidding?
Saying summoning demons has never been so much fun. The site categorizes the book as a playful guide to conjure demons to communicate with the spirit. The children's product is listed for ages children 5 to 10, inspires kids to create demons of their own. It's a coloring book.
They just have to invite Michelle Obama to the school.
Yeah, so in the back of this one we have as a glossary that tells you how to get rid of demons. Okay, don't try to summon them. And speaking of which, Harry Potter books in Tennessee. A Roman Catholic school in Tennessee has banished all of J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter books because this pastor, they call it pastor, but it's a Roman Catholic school. It's got to be a priest. The priest actually, let me see, it's in Nashville, said that he consulted with exorcists in the U.S. and at the Vatican. And they claimed, according to him, that the curses and spells used in the books are actual curses and spells.
Probably are.
Which, when read by a human being, actually risk conjuring evil spirits into the presence of the person reading the text.
And that's why Hillary Clinton is at all the movies.
And this is in Nashville, apparently, and he's explained all this to the parents, and so, of course, they're kind of putting this out as, you know, it's a terrible thing, but there's so much going on that's just terrible. And speaking of terrible and political correctness, Tim Allen is speaking up about the thought police.
Yes, I heard about that one.
Yep, and apparently he's as some of you may or may not know, he's a comedian. He's 66 years old now. Did you know that? Apparently he faced a backlash for advocating using the N-word in his stand-up, and he doesn't like the phrase N-word because everybody knows what that means, right?
Of
so
course.
It's silly.
Like F-word.
Yes, so we all know what it says. I mean, so anyway, so he says that now comedians have to censor their material so as not to offend their audiences. And co-host Joy Behar, who is also a comedian,
no, she's not,
said that PC culture makes it really hard for comedians. Their jokes are taken out of context, posted on social media, and now they call this the cancel culture, which means they're blacklisted or deplatformed for controversial remarks.
Joy Behar should not be talking about anything because she's brainless.
I don't know. Maybe that's not politically correct for you to say.
I don't care. She's a ditz head.
And Tim Allen says liberals have a very small window of sense of humor about themselves, and I love poking at it. So if you don't agree with them, then they claim you hate women, you hate gays, you hate pro-choice people.
Exactly.
So you have to agree with everybody these days.
Just say what you want to say.
It's got to be that way. And now back to the Bible. Did you know that snakes once had legs as described in the book of Genesis?
Yes.
And paleontologists in Argentina, we just talked about Argentina.
Wow, something's going on with Argentina.
Yeah,
it's the new Ukraine.
Maybe that's it. They reached for their Bibles after they found fossils of snakes with hind legs. This was reported in the Science Advances, which estimates the fossils found in Patagonia to be 95 million years old.
Like you.
And they, guess what, in Argentina, they gave the snakes a Jewish name.
No.
Najash. Nahash? Rio Negrina.
Yeah, Nahash means snake in
Hebrew. So that's what they gave it. In Argentina, they gave it a Jewish name.
Well, there's a lot of Jewish people in Argentina.
Are there? The scientists based their theory on fragments of a nearly complete skull, which indicated that they were very similar to lizards. Now, the thing that makes snakes so different from a lizard is that snakes can open their dislocate their jaw and like swallow everything whole, and they're big.
I had an ex-wife like that.
Big. So, there's theories that said that snakes evolved from small worm-like burrowing lizards with 4 legs, but this is big. And this is consistent with the story in Genesis, which states that the snake was punished for tempting Eve. So then we have a quote. It says, Hashem said to the serpent, because you did this, more cursed you shall be than all cattle and all the wild beasts. On your belly shall you crawl, and dirt shall you eat all the days of your life. Genesis 3:14.
My first wife said that to me.
So, since the punishment was to crawl on its belly, it is surmised that prior to the punishment, the snake did not crawl and may have had legs. In Gematria,
Nachash
equals 358, which guess what, is the same as Mosich,
get out.
which means the Messiah. So the Zohar, which we have written about in here, and Kabbalah, both of these 2 books, read those, is explained that the evil inclination personified by the snake in Eden will make a resurgence in the days before Messiah, tempted to come and drink sustenance from the enormous levels of holiness that will appear in the world in the end of days. And it gets better. Another connection between the lowly snake and holiness is implicit in the Hebrew words. The letters of the word nachash, meaning snake, can be arranged to spell choshen, or breastplate, worn by the high priest in the temple. And the Zohar states that the tikkun, or fixing of the snake's sin in the Garden of Eden would be accomplished in the 3rd temple by way of the breastplate. So perhaps after the 3rd temple is built, snakes will once again walk on their legs, this article says.
I know plenty of snakes that are walking on their legs.
But the most remarkable non-snake-like aspect of the new find was a well-defined sacrum supporting a pelvis and functional hind legs outside of its rib cage. So this snake is an important addition because it is the first snake with a sacrum and represents an intermediate morphology that has never before been seen and perhaps has to do with the building of the 3rd temple.
There you go.
So isn't that fascinating? And guess what else was found this time in Mexico? Still South America. This is why they don't want
Mexico is not South America.
Okay, Central. Well, I guess they call it North America.
North America.
All right. Well, whatever. In the Americas, they're still finding things. So in Mexico, in a forest in Veracruz, a cave full of jade stones have been discovered. You might have seen this because this was all over the internet. The cave featured incredible carvings, very complex, and depicted some kind of gray aliens with slim bodies, big heads, and large eyes. And the discovery was made public by journalist Javier Lopez Diaz. And Javier is convinced that these carvings depict real contact between an ancient civilization and extraterrestrials. These space entities helped in the creation of the Aztec and Mayan civilization. According to experts, the carvings on the jade stones is completely authentic. They also found different paintings depicting similar scenes of contact between aliens and humans. And at the same time, there are also representations of alien spaceships. And one researcher claims that he managed to decipher the jade stones and got the amazing title of Stones of the First Encounter.
Listen to me. Anything that comes out of Mexico is questionable.
No, that's what they're telling, and it's all over the internet now. You can't go down and see it because they might kill you.
I actually don't believe that story.
You can't go down there. You can't go down there because they will kill you. They kill everybody when you go to Mexico, right?
I did, and I'm
Yeah,
alive.
you can't go. You got to be careful. That was how many years ago?
4.
So you can't go again.
No, 3 actually, because
It's
I went with you.
than that. No, you went after me.
And then I went with you after that.
No.
Yes, it was
No.
for your birthday, if you remember.
That was a long time ago.
No, not that long ago.
Yeah, 4 years ago. So, and here's one that I wonder if, now you know about Black Friday, right?
I'm offended by that name.
Okay, well, you know about White Friday?
Yes.
Okay. So, did you know there's also a Brown Friday?
That's even more offensive.
Yeah. And do you know who calls it Brown Friday?
Brown people.
Plumbers.
Why? Oh. Don't even tell me the story.
Yes, because as you're preparing for your Thanksgiving meal, plumbers are getting ready for Brown Friday, they said.
Oh, boy.
Because they get dozens of additional calls from people stuffing things down their garbage disposal.
Like?
Grease, meat, turkey bones, onions, celery.
Why would anyone put bones down the garbage disposal?
Anything they're trying to get rid of, they put in their garbage disposal.
How about putting it in the garbage?
According to Roto-Rooter, Business jumps 50% above average compared to a normal Friday, so they call it Brown Friday. And not only kitchen drains, but this was in your head to start with, but also bathrooms. Because they said if you put 25 people in a house that was meant to have 4 or 5 people in it, things happen. So Brown Friday, remember that. Especially if you're a plumber, I guess it's a good day for you.
Not if you have to ruin your dinner.
Okay, and I found a place for us to retire.
Mars, perhaps?
Close. This is a place that's supposed to be like Wakanda.
Wakanda?
Yeah, and Black Panther. Mm-hmm. Is that okay to say Black Panther?
No, it's offensive.
Is that offensive?
Yes.
Okay, and Panther.
Panther.
The movie called Panther.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there is a man who I never heard of before, but he's a Senegalese-American singer known as Akon.
It's that guy to me.
Okay, this is his real name. Can you say that?
Alione de Malabadara.
You didn't finish.
Oh, Dion.
This goes by Akama.
He could be a part of the Qatari
Akon, maybe.
Group.
Anyway, he announced on the popular Nick Cannon's radio show Power 106 Los Angeles. He is a, just in case you wanted to know, because we didn't know, he's a pop, you didn't know. You just still don't know, because I haven't told you. He's a popular singer, songwriter, record producer, entrepreneur, philanthropist, and actor who founded 2 successful record labels, Convict Music and Con Live Distribution.
That sounds really good.
Well, let me tell you, this, I think he is like in competition for Kanye West. Right? Akron and Kanye.
Kanye's going to be after him.
Yeah, because Kanye just said he was the most...
He's Jesus.
And also the most genius person, like whatever on the earth, creative person. So this guy has several awards in his name, and he announced plans in June of this last year to build a 100% crypto-based city called Akon City. It's got to be related to Kanye West. Akon, Kanye, now known as Ye or Ye. Anyway, it's all renewable. The Akontainment Solar City, a real physical place. It's going to have a real airport. It's a 10-year building block, so we're doing it in stages. He began construction this past March. It's stage 2 will be completed in 2025.
Where is it?
So maybe by 2025 we can...
Where is it?
Guess.
Africa.
Senegal.
Senegal is a little tiny, disgusting place.
Well, it's not going to be when he's done with it. He said, when he asked if he was a billionaire, that he refused to be associated with the term billionaire. But he said the project is on the way. It's being built on 2,000 acres. That's like the whole country. He's being built on 2,000 acres of land gifted to Akon from the president of Senegal. And not only that, but he has also vowed to bring electricity to 600 million people in Africa under his charitable project, Akon Lighting Africa. So I don't know if Kanye can meet this.
I think that more than that, have electricity.
Is Kanye going to have a town like this? I think we should retire here because this is Wakanda. I like Wakanda. No, it's not. It's real. I read it on Gambia.org.
Oh, well, in that case.
Yeah, it's online. It's true. So with that said, here we go. Remember in December, I guess hopefully.
Remember in December.
Yeah, my online webinar series. We only have 3 classes in December because of the holidays. You need to sign up right away because we're like starting in a couple of days. This is a great course. We are right now focusing on father energies, which a lot of people have a lot of problems with because they think it's their mother, but usually it's the father. So that's what we're studying right now.
And sometimes your father is your mother. Sometimes
it is. These days that can be. So this is a great book. If you can't join the class, where you can also get the webinars, you can get them. So we have a lot of webinars that are free online to our members. These eventually will be online, but right now, at least get the book. I told you about these 2 books, Template of God, Mind, King Bee. You need to read this one first, then this one. Right after the first of the year, we will have the 3rd one in this series out. Very fascinating information. Want to be sure and get those. But do sign up for the webinars. And in January, our medical book, hopefully, will be out around the 1st of the year now. I'm still waiting for, finally have it to the printer, waiting for them to tell me when it's going to be out so I can at least put it out there for your, you can pre-buy it as soon as we have it ready. Healing Archetypes and Symbols, Hyperspace Plus. I know you finished this sequel to this book. This one you also want to catch up on. If you like the wintertime to read, or you're going to go places where you want to take a book, grab some of these because this will like change your life and blow your mind and give you something positive to do, right? Mm-hmm. And what else do we need to tell them about? The January class, did I mention that?
I don't remember.
Yeah, the January class based on, it's all based on our health and healing work.
There'll be that plus other things.
Well, everything that we do is about health and healing.
Then in March I have the seminar in Quito.
Is that your online or in person?
No, that's in person.
Okay, the one's going to be in person. You got to go to Quito, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And then in April I will be in Portugal, Malta, and Turkey.
All right. So watch the website for that, and also remember the Italian trip. Clear Health and Healing will be sometime around the middle of June, right after the first of the year. Watch the website, because right after the first of the year, we will have dates for and more things confirmed that we're actually doing. So watch out for that. Get a membership on our website, please. Less than $1 a day. Then you know about us. You know about our books. You have lots of videos to watch. You have our daily blogs or study blogs, all kinds of things on there. Like, we have so much content on the back end. But we keep that for the serious people who are willing to pay like less than $1 a day.
I got a lot of stuff in my back end.
Yes, we know that. That's why I make you sit, then we only film up from the waist up.
That's why I don't wear pants.
Yeah, there you go, because there's a problem there. So with that said, until next time.
For now, and happy Thanksgiving weekend to Americans.
Bye.
Bye.